semua impianmu, terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tabi pun, selamat datang di kampus Dharma Jaya dengan visi menjadi perguruan tinggi pembelajaran unggul berbasis riset dan teknologi informasi. Izinkan kami membantu mewujudkan mimpi dan harapan untuk mencapai masa depan yang lebih baik.
Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk anak. Sambutlah masa depanmu yang cerah bersama kami, IIB Dharma Jaya. Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk anak. Sambutlah masa depanmu yang cerah bersama kami, IIB Dharma Jaya. Langkahkan kaki, gapai semua impianmu, terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri. IIB Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling unggul dalam ilmu teknologi dan juga bisnis, menghasilkan lulusan yang terbaik, berkarakter, berkompeten dan juga bermutu. Dharma Jaya. Belum. Langkahkan kaki, gapai semua impianmu. Terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri. IIB Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tabi pun, selamat datang di kampus Dharma Jaya dengan visi menjadi perguruan tinggi pembelajaran unggul berbasis riset dan teknologi informasi. Izinkan kami membantu mewujudkan mimpi dan harapan untuk mencapai masa depan yang lebih baik.
Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk anak. Sambutlah masa depan yang cerah bersama kami. IIB Dharma Jaya. Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk anak. Sambutlah masa depan yang cerah bersama kami. IIB Dharma Jaya. Langkahkan kaki, gapai semua impianmu. Terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri. IIB Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling unggul dalam ilmu teknologi dan juga bisnis. Menghasilkan lulusan yang terbaik, berkarakter, berkompeten dan juga bermutu. Dharma Jaya. Langkahkan kaki, gapai semua impianmu. Terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri. IIB Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tabi pun, selamat datang di kampus Dharma Jaya dengan visi menjadi perguruan tinggi pembelajaran unggul berbasis riset dan teknologi informasi. Izinkan kami membantu mewujudkan mimpi dan harapan untuk mencapai masa depan yang lebih baik.
Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk anak. Sambutlah masa depan yang cerah bersama kami. IIB Dharma Jaya. Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk anak. Sambutlah masa depan yang cerah bersama kami. IIB Dharma Jaya. semua impian, terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri. IIB Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling unggul dalam ilmu teknologi dan juga bisnis, menghasilkan lulusan yang terbaik, berkarakter, berkompeten dan juga bermutu. Dharma Jaya. Langkahkan kaki, gapai semua impianmu, terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri. IIB Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tabi pun, selamat datang di kampus Dharma Jaya dengan visi menjadi perguruan tinggi pembelajaran unggul berbasis riset dan teknologi informasi. Izinkan kami membantu mewujudkan mimpi dan harapan untuk mencapai masa depan yang lebih baik.
Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk kamu. Sambutlah masa depan yang cerah bersama kami, IIB Dharma Jaya. Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk Anda. Sambutlah masa depan yang cerah bersama kami, IIB Dharma Jaya. Langkahkan kaki, gapai semua impian, terus berinovasi.
Iya. Tanya masih bayar di kan?
IIB Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling unggul dalam ilmu teknologi dan juga bisnis, menghasilkan lulusan yang terbaik, berkarakter, berkompeten dan juga bermutu. Dharma Jaya.
Halo milenial dan Z, gimana? Udah pilih perguruan tinggi untuk kuliahmu belum? Di Lampung ada institut swasta terbaik di Indonesia loh, dengan akreditasi prodi A dan B. Institut Informatika dan Bisnis Dharma Jaya pastinya. Mau tahu apa aja keunggulannya? Pertama, perkuliahan dilakukan hybrid learning dengan learning management system. Kedua, kamu juga berkesempatan kuliah di luar negeri loh, seperti di Malaysia, China, Taiwan, Vietnam, Rusia, dan masih banyak lagi. Ketiga, kuliah di Dharma Jaya itu serasa kuliah di luar negeri loh. Keempat, event tingkat nasional selalu digelar di Dharma Jaya loh. Ada Festival Film Mahasiswa Indonesia, Festival Film Lampung, dan ada juga Kejurnas Pencaksilat. Kelima, kampus di Lampung dengan tenaga pengajar doktor terbanyak. Keenam, entrepreneur muda lahir di sini. Yuk daftar, untuk info pendaftaran ada di bawah ini. Halo milenial dan Z, gimana? Udah pilih perguruan tinggi untuk kuliahmu belum? Di Lampung ada institut swasta terbaik di Indonesia loh, dengan akreditasi prodi A dan B. Institut Informatika dan Bisnis Dharma Jaya pastinya. Mau tahu apa aja keunggulannya? Pertama, perkuliahan dilakukan hybrid learning dengan learning management system. Kedua, kamu juga berkesempatan kuliah di luar negeri loh, seperti di Malaysia, Cina, Taiwan, Vietnam, Rusia, dan masih banyak lagi. Ketiga, kuliah di Dharma Jaya itu serasa kuliah di luar negeri loh. Keempat, event tingkat nasional selalu digelar di Dharma Jaya loh. Ada Festival Film Mahasiswa Indonesia, Festival Film Lampung, dan ada juga Kejurnas Pencaksilat. Kelima, kampus di Lampung dengan tenaga pengajar doktor terbanyak. Keenam, entrepreneur muda lahir di sini. Yuk daftar, untuk info pendaftaran ada di bawah ini.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Prof. Yoliansah. Terima kasih sudah membersamai kita semua di sini. Assalamualaikum juga untuk Pak Sekda, Pak Fahrizal. Terima kasih Pak Sekda sudah hadir. Mudah-mudahan Pak Sekda juga selalu tersurah keberkahan. Dijaga kesehatan sama Allah Subhanahu wa Taala.
Amin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. Lama kita nggak jumpa tatap muka. Sehat ya Pak Sekda ya?
Alhamdulillah sehat.
Alhamdulillah, Masya Allah. Makasih Pak Sekda sudah membersamai di sini mewakili Pak Gubernur. Masya Allah.
Kembali.
Kesibukan menyempatkan hadir. Ya, I would also like to greet Associate Professor Dr. Mahmud Muhammadian dari University of Canberra, Australia. Thank you for being here. And Professor Dr. Parmanan Astia from Sarda University, India. Thank you for being here. Associate Professor Dr. Serhat Tuman from Bandar University, Turkey. Thank you. And Dr. Rahayu Ahmad from University Utara Malaysia. And also all the participants of the seminar today. Pak Ajit, Pak Said.
Siap Pak.
Ya, sepertinya sudah hadir semua ini.
Siap Pak.
Insya Allah bisa kita mulai.
Bismillah Pak. Baik, terima kasih tim acara, silakan.
Oke. 1, 2, 3, oke.
Ladies and gentlemen, our opening ceremony is about to begin. Please have a comfortable positions and let us follow this opening ceremony. Before we conduct this event, I would like to express our special invited guests and let me greet them as well. The first, the Honorable Governor of Lampung or his representative, the Honorable Head of the Higher Education Service Institutions of Southern Sumatra L2 Dikti Region 2, the Honorable Board of Member of Aptisi Region 2 Bandar Lampung, the Honorable Chair of Alfian Hussein Foundation, the Honorable Chairman of Foundation's Board of Trustees, the Honorable Rector of IIB Dharma Jaya, the Honorable Vice Rectors, Deans of IIB Dharma Jaya and his staffs, the Honorable keynote speakers of GCODTIS 2021, the Honorable participant and the honorable invited guest. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tabi pun. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first global conference on digital technology and information system 2021, with the title is Into the Digital World on Thursday, August 5th, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, allow me to lead our praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala due to His grace and blessing upon us, so that we can attend to the conference digitally. Also, our praise and compliment should be commended to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who we are waiting from his salvations. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference will provide you an opportunity to discuss and share knowledge and novelty. To make this event run well and blessed by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, let us open this event today by reciting lafaz basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The next session is about to sing the national anthem Indonesia Raya. Please. And pray to him that will be led by Ustadz Suratno, SPDI MH. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karim wa adimi sultani. Allahumma ighfir lana dzunubana wa liwalidayna warhamhuma kama rabbayana shighara. Wa li jamil muslimin wal muslimat wal mu'minin wal mu'minat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat. Ya qadiyal hajat innaka ala kulli syai'in qadir. Rabbana dhalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Rabbana la tu'ahidna in nasyina aw akhtana. Rabbana wala tahmil alaina isran kama hamaltahu alal ladzina min qablina. Rabbana wala tuhammilna ma la taqata lana bi. Wa'fu anna waghfir lana warhamna anta maulana fansurna 'alal qaumil kafirin. Rabbana hab lana min azwajina wa dzurriyyatina qurrata a'yun waj'alna lil muttaqina imama. Ya Allah ya Rahmanir Rahim, I will say thank you because you give you strength for study today. May you bless you so we can study and gain much knowledge. Hopefully, the knowledge we find will be beneficial for your life and other people in the world. Please bless us, our teacher and parents. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman Ya Rahim. We would like to be smart, intelligent, and wise people. Now and in the future. Thank you, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman Ya Rahim. Rabbana aril haqqa haqqa warzuqna tiba'ah. Wa aril batila batila warzuqna ijtinabah. Rabbana ya Allah, atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar wa qina adzabannar wa qina adzabannar. Bi fadlika subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much to Ustaz Suratno. Next, let us listen to the speech will be delivered by the chairwoman of this conference. I would like to invite Ibu Dr. Silrestari. Floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for the chance, Mr. Rian. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Abiun. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Your head of National Higher Education Institution, LLD AKTA, Region 2, Prof. Yuliansa, PhD, AKT, your Governor of Lampung Province, or representing E.R. Fahrizal Darminto, MA, dear Rector Institute of Informatik and Business Dharma Jaya, E.R. Firmansyah Yuni Alfi Alfian, MBA, MSc. Dear all keynote speakers who have been willing to share knowledge in the conference, and all participants and committee who we respect. As we give our praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, let us remember good heart, good energy gave to all of us in carrying out in the international conference activity and collaboration with LLDA and the Institute Informatik and Business Dharma Jaya. The salawat and greeting of all of us are lavished to great prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Hopefully someday we will receive the blessing for him. The Global Conference on Digital Technology and Information System, GTODTAS, is the conference organized by LLDA and IAB Dharma Jaya. This conference is implemented to share the research finding from the academician in the field to information technology with the theme into the digital world. These issues, obstacles, and solutions of the ongoing to digital world nowadays will be discussed by keynote speakers as well as all of the conference speakers. We really support this conference because it is one of the pillars of the education Tridharma. The research that become an interesting discussion forum that will be beneficial from the nation and the country. This conference hopefully can be continuously carried out because it is regarded as the place where the high quality papers are becoming state of the art of the technological development in Indonesia. We also thank LLDAKTA for trusting us as partner to carrying out the conference. We also thank to co-hosts and presenter and participants who attended this GTODTAS conference. Furthermore, we apologize if there are shortcomings in shaping and providing the best service in the conference. We hope The conference speaker who have submitted their paper will be able to continue and publish their researches in reputable journal. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much to Ibu Dr. Silestari for the speech. And then the next session is a welcoming speech that will be delivered by Director of Institute of Informatics and Business Dharma Jaya, who will also symbolically open this conference. To Bapak Insinyur Haji Firmansyah YA MBA MSc, floor is yours.
Thank you, moderator. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma warzuqni fahma. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kami pun. Good morning and may God bless us all. The Governor of Lampung, or now is being represented by Secretary of a Region, Bapak Fahrizal Darminto. Dear Director of Research and Technology for the Ministry of Research, Technology and Higher Education. Dear Head of the Higher Education Service Institution of Southern Sumatra, or LLDikti, Region 2 Palembang, Professor Julian Shah, PhD. Thank you for being here. Dear Board and members of APTISI Region 2 Bandar Lampung, Provinsi Lampung. Dear Chairman of the Alfian Husin Foundation. Dear Chairman of the Foundation's Board of Trustees. Dear Vice Rectors, Dean of IB Dharma Jaya and his staff, dear keynote speakers of Global Conference on Digital Technology and Information System 2021 seminar, I would like to greet Associate Professor Dr. Masud Muhammadian from University of Canberra, Australia, Professor Dr. Parmanan Astia from Sarda University, India, Associate Professor Dr. Sarhat Duman from Bandirma University, Turkey, Dr. Rahayu Ahmad from University Utara Malaysia, and also our proudly lecturer, Dr. Muhammad Said Hasibuan from IB Dharma Jaya, Indonesia. Dear participant of GCODTIS 2021, our co-host, and also dear invited guests. Ladies and gentlemen, praise and gratitude we enclose for the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, for His mercy and guidance to all of us, so that we can carry out the first global conference on digital technology and information system 2021 into the digital world. Salawat and greetings we also praise to our great Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, whose his help we look for in the final day later. Amin. On this occasion, allow me to thank the Governor of Lampung and his staff, the head of the Higher Education Service Institution of Southern Sumatra LLDikti Region 2 and their staff, presenters, and committee members who have supported the implementation of this morning's activity. Furthermore, I also thank the chairman of the Alfian Husin Foundation, who has given us the opportunity to run this activity as we expected. Ladies and gentlemen, nowadays, digital and information technology is very important for human life. In the past, humans got information by going to the library, reading a book, reading a newspaper, or witnessing an event firsthand. Nevertheless, in this modern era, humans are able to acquire information easily through digital information technology. Digital and information technology is also to produce, store, process, and disseminate the information. Thus, digital information technology is information management technology in digital form through digitization process. Impact of technological advances in social and cultural sector ease of access to information also provides the good impacts in saving time and saving costs. Moreover, digitally accessed information saves space because just one laptop can store hundreds of books without taking up space. With the existence of digital information technology, the information that can be accessed has become very broad in scope, covering the whole world Ease of access to this information is very useful in the field of education. For this reason, universities provide input in the academic field for various sectors. It must also prepare itself to face changes in the era of digital disruption, namely the leaps era with digital technology. However, it must be supported by the government's role by preparing regulations. Remembering, if universities don't make changes quickly to the digital era, the university will be left far behind gradually. Dear speakers and participants, Institute of Informatics and Business Dharma Jaya as one of the universities is the intellectual activity based. So it needs to be the main driver in technology development, especially in Lampung and Indonesia in general. IB Dharma Jaya also dedicates to improve the quality of research, especially in this technological disruption era. Improving the quality of research is achieved by developing science and technology. It can improve the living standard of people in Indonesia for global competition. Obviously, it was able to further encourage such development. A system is needed to stimulate technological development in the form of protection of intellectual property rights of research results. Ladies and gentlemen, I really hope that the first global conference on digital technology and information system into the digital world can be a communication and discussion activity between academics and stakeholders related to the development of innovation strategy models in the disruption era, especially stakeholders in the higher education service institution of Southern Sumatra or LL Region 2. Personally, I expect that this activity can be a media to introduce the research results from the academic community to be a source of innovation-based competitive advantage to the digital and information technology. And also, the results of this seminar are also expected to provide an understanding of digital and information technology and its impact on people in Indonesia. In addition, I also hope that the results of this international seminar can be useful for various parties so that they can understand innovation from the digital and information technology disruption era and the opportunities that can be developed. Before I close this speech, let me congratulate you on the implementation of the first global conference on digital technology and information system 2021 into the digital world. Hopefully, what is produced from this seminar can continue to be implemented and produce something beneficial for the welfare of the community. Thank you, and thank you. With saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, the Global Conference on Digital Technology and Information System into the Digital World now is being opened. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much to Bapak for the speech, and also it opens this event. Also, I would like to invite Prof. Yuliansa PhD AKT to give welcoming speech as a head of Higher Education Service Institutions L2 Dikti Region 2 to Professor Yuliansa PhD AKT. Floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, to Honorable the Secretary of Region of the Province of Lampung, Rector and members of the Institute of Informatics and Business Dharma Jaya, co-hosts of the conference, keynote speakers of the conference, presenter and participants of the conference. Thank you very much, we say, for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that we can happily meet in a good event, even we do in webinar way. In the first Global Conference of Digital Technology and Information System with Institute of Informatic and Business Dharma Jaya. We are in LLDT 2 and APC Region 2. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm on behalf of the head of Agency for Higher Education Service in Region 2. As we say, as LLDT Region 2 in southern part Sumatra, covers for province South Sumatra, Lampung, Bengkulu, and Bangka Island. So we got a mandate to increase the quality of education in the area. As an agency of higher education service in Region 2, we consistently respect humanity regardless race, nationality, religion, and other social status by providing service and access to gain high education. By having a slogan of "We are with you" has been elevating its effort in enhancing the performance, not only in academic teaching, community service, but also of the quality of research. These three central activities are consistently underpinned by managing good university governance and broadly cooperating with various stakeholders from both domestic and abroad. By doing so, we wish to gradually achieve our goal to increase universities in southern part Sumatra be better and achieve an excellent accreditation. We strongly realize the importance of conducting research and development and the academic obligation to its publication for all lecturers. Therefore, support our lecturers and researchers in doing research publication annually at both faculty and university level. In facing rapid global challenge while providing technical system and infrastructure that are linked gradually to advanced technology, we are also support Institute of Informatic and Business Dharma Jaya to cooperate with various institutions. I hope this way we can motivate other university to do same way with Institute of Informatic and Business Dharma Jaya. In addition, we hope this conference should be able to increase understanding of participants and can be a way to solve social problems, support enhancing global environments that become more complicated than decades before. Facilitating this meeting can be interpreted as our robust commitment to do so. Enjoy the conference. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much to Bapak for the speech. And then for the next session, as a representative of Lampung governments, we also invite Bapak Insinyur Fahrizal Darminto MA as a representative to give the welcoming speech from government of Lampung province. Please.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Good morning, and may God bless all of us. Dear Director of Research and Technology for Ministry of Research, Technology and Higher Education, dear Head of LLDT Region 2 Palembang, dear Board and members of APTC Region 2 Bandar Lampung, dear Chairman of the Alfian Hussein Foundation, dear Chairman of the Foundation Board of Trustees, dear Rector of Institute of Informatic Business Dharma Jaya and all of his staff, dear speakers and participants of this seminar, dear invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Praise and gratitude only for the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His mercy and guidance to all of us, so that we can this morning attend this conference on digital technology and information system. Salawat and salam. We also praise to our great Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We hope his health the final day later. Amin. Today, allow me on behalf of the Lampung Provincial Government to congratulate the first Global Conference on Digital Technology and Information System 2021 into the digital world. I would like to extend my appreciation to LLDT Region 2 Palembang, Alfian Hussein Foundation, Rector of Dharma Jaya, leaders and lecturers, as well as the entire Civitas Academica of the Dharma Jaya Institute of Informatics and Business for their cooperation in carrying out these duties and assisting this seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, there have been many achievements of the development progress in Lampung Province. Now it's running very significantly, which is followed by the progress of very cross-sectorial development. It is supported by the innovation, human resources, and natural resources. This is such an added value to develop, make Lampung Province moving forward in development. In this occasion, I want to express my deepest gratitude to all of communities and development component who have participated in making a real contribution to the progress of Lampung Province. However, there is still a lot of challenges to be done by many parties, especially to the local government together with the whole community in Lampung Province. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are happy and proud of the first global conference on digital technology and information system. I strongly support economic development with digital and information technology in order to creating many new jobs for the community. Moreover, digital information and information also encourage business and business development. Although it must be admitted that the digital and information technology development system have a high complexity. Digital information technology systems are elaborately built using all developed hardware and software. And all of us believe that the information technology creates dependence on its user. I believe with these activities held today, inshallah, everything can be overcome and useful for the all community and all of us. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. On behalf of Gubernur Lampung, Cardinal Junaidi.
Thank you very much, Bapak, for the speech. And then to next sessions is we are in MOU signing between National Higher Education Service Institutions, IIB Dharma Jaya, Universitas MDP, ITB Lembah Dempo, and STIMIK Pringsewu. This session will be held from the Rector of IIB Dharma Jaya and Head L2 Dikti Region 2, and then representative of Universitas MDP, and then representative of ITB Lembah Dempo, and representative of STIMIK Pringsewu. Please.
Terima kasih untuk Prof. Yuliansa yang sudah memfasilitasi buat Rektor Universitas MDP, Pak Johannes Petrus. Terima kasih untuk Ibu Sri Hartati dari STIMIK Pringsewu dan juga Dr. Elvera, Rektor IPIS Lebah Dempo. Mudah-mudahan kerjasamanya barokah. Kita bisa saling berbagi ilmu yang terbaik untuk anak-anak didik kita. Mudah-mudahan berkah dunia akhirat insya Allah.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Thank you very much for the institutions. As this MOU has been signed and agreed together, it means that we are able to synergize and improve our science and novelty. And then now we are in the last sessions. It means that it's closing. Before we closing this event, let us close this opening event by saying lafaz hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. The honorable audience, the opening sessions is already done. Hopefully through this event we can get some benefits. I would like to convey excuse for the mistake I had in my speech. Thank you very much for your kind attention. And to the main event, we would like to present traditional dance from Lampung. Please enjoy. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Langkahkan kaki, gapai semua impianmu. Terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri. IIB Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling...
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tabi pun, selamat datang di kampus Dharma Jaya dengan visi menjadi perguruan tinggi pembelajaran unggul berbasis riset dan teknologi informasi. Izinkan kami membantu mewujudkan mimpi dan harapan untuk mencapai masa depan yang lebih baik.
Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk anak. Sambutlah masa depan yang cerah bersama kami. IIB Dharma Jaya. Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk anak. Sambutlah masa depan yang cerah bersama kami. IIB Dharma Jaya. Langkahkan kaki, gapai semua impianmu. Terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri. IIB Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling unggul dalam ilmu teknologi dan juga bisnis. Menghasilkan lulusan yang terbaik, berkarakter, berkompeten dan juga bermutu. Dharma Jaya. Langkahkan kaki, gapai semua impianmu. Terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri. IIB Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling...
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tabi pun, selamat datang di kampus Dharma Jaya dengan visi menjadi perguruan tinggi pembelajaran unggul berbasis riset dan teknologi informasi. Izinkan kami membantu mewujudkan mimpi dan harapan untuk mencapai masa depan yang lebih baik.
Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk anak. Sambutlah masa depan yang cerah bersama kami. IIB Dharma Jaya. Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk anak. Sambutlah masa depan yang cerah bersama kami. IIB Dharma Jaya. Langkahkan kaki, gapai semua impianmu. Terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri. IIB Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling unggul dalam ilmu teknologi dan juga bisnis, menghasilkan lulusan yang terbaik, berkarakter, berkompeten dan juga bermutu. Dharma Jaya.
Halo milenial dan Z, gimana? Udah pilih perguruan tinggi untuk kuliahmu belum? Di Lampung ada institut swasta terbaik di Indonesia loh, dengan akreditasi prodi A dan B. Institut Informatika dan Bisnis Dharma Jaya pastinya. Mau tahu apa aja keunggulannya? Pertama, perkuliahan dilakukan hybrid learning dengan learning management system. Kedua, kamu juga berkesempatan kuliah di luar negeri loh, seperti di Malaysia, China, Taiwan, Vietnam, Rusia, dan masih banyak lagi. Ketiga, kuliah di Dharma Jaya itu serasa kuliah di luar negeri loh. Keempat, event tingkat nasional selalu digelar di Dharma Jaya loh. Ada Festival Film Mahasiswa Indonesia, Festival Film Lampung, dan ada juga Kejurnas Pencaksilat. Kelima, kampus di Lampung dengan tenaga pengajar doktor terbanyak. Keenam, entrepreneur muda lahir di sini. Yuk daftar, untuk info pendaftaran ada di bawah ini.
gapai semua impianmu, terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri. Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tabi pun, selamat datang di kampus Dharma Jaya dengan visi menjadi perguruan tinggi pembelajaran unggul berbasis riset dan teknologi informasi. Izinkan kami membantu mewujudkan mimpi dan harapan untuk mencapai masa depan yang lebih baik.
Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk anak. Sambutlah masa depan yang cerah bersama kami. IIB Dharma Jaya. Dharma Jaya, kampus terbaik untuk semua. Dharma Jaya, pilihan untuk anak. Sambutlah masa depan yang cerah bersama kami. IIB Dharma Jaya. Langkahkan kaki, gapai semua impianmu, terus berinovasi untuk membangun negeri. IIB Dharma Jaya, kampus yang paling unggul dalam ilmu teknologi dan juga bisnis, menghasilkan lulusan yang terbaik, berkarakter, berkompeten dan juga bermutu. Dharma Jaya.
Welcome back to the program. This is Romalia from IBI Dharma Jaya, your moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will be going to fly to different countries, to India, to Malaysia, to Turkey and Australia, to speak about digital technology and information system. I will introduce the first speaker, and then she will talk. I will continue to introduce the second speaker, and he will talk, and so on. You can throw the question to all the speakers after the last speaker finishes his speech. So right now, please be seated and enjoy the flight. I will introduce you to the first speaker, Dr. Rahayu Ahmad from University Utara Malaysia. Assalamualaikum, Ibu.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay. Jalan-jalan ke Lampung, pulangnya bawa durian harum. Assalamualaikum, Dr. Rahayu. It is my pleasure to introduce you.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Rahayu is currently working in School of Computing, University Utara Malaysia. She holds a PhD in Information System from University of Maryland, Baltimore County, USA. Her research interest lies in the area of social computing, particularly online communities, social media, cross-sorting, and cybercrime. Very interesting research. Ladies and gentlemen, nowadays, many people trust social media more than experts. As a result, cybercrimes are considered as one of the biggest issues in digital security, particularly in pandemics nowadays. So Dr. Rahayu will speak about the implementation of routine activity theory in cybercrimes. So Dr. Rahayu, you have about 20 minutes to speak. Time is yours.
All right, thank you, Madam Chairperson. So I hope everyone can hear me. Let me share my screen here. Can you confirm? Can you see my
Yes,
screen now?
we can see
Okay.
your PowerPoint.
Okay. Thank you for the kind introduction just now, Madam Chairperson. Assalamualaikum. A very good morning to all the
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
a very good morning to all honorable guests, my esteemed keynote speakers, and all of the participants today. So without further ado, I would like to just share knowledge related to a synthesis of literature, which is a method called systematic literature review, to understand how people become victim of cybercrime nowadays. So the theory is called routine activity theories. Okay, so what's actually my motivation of doing this study? So as you can see here, reported by FBI, 1,300 cybercrimes are reported, which amount to 3.5 billion losses. Yeah, so it's a big amount. And as you can see here, during pandemic, the rate of cybercrime increases up to 600%. So we can see here that people are the most vulnerable entities to be exploited for cybercrimes. So the motivation for this study is to understand whether the concept of physical crime victimization can be applied in virtual crime victimization. Okay, so before I go further, let me just give a brief introduction about what are the different types of cybercrime. So we followed this Wall 2017 classification. So according to him, there are three major types of cybercrimes. So the first one is called cyber-dependent crimes. So from the word cyber-dependent, you know that these attacks can only be facilitated by the technology. Okay, so without the technology, this crime will not happen. So example will be malware infection, hacking, and so on. And for cyber-enabled means that these type of crimes have existed in our physical world, but having technology will facilitate the widespread of these cyber crimes. Okay, so example of it will be phishing, online fraud, identity theft, online pornography. And the third one is cyber-related crimes. This is majorly related to the contents on the cyber world itself. So example of the crime will include cyber obscenity, cyber violence, cyber bullying. Okay, so but for my study, I'm just going to focus on these two types of crimes because the interest of the publication maximum words. Yeah. So after we have known what are the types of cybercrimes, now I would like to introduce the theory itself. So this theory is actually being traditionally used in physical crime. Okay, so what is essentially routine activity theory? So this theory has three major parts. So it says that in order for any of individual to become a cybercrime, a crime victim, these three things must occur, or you must have these three things. So the first one is proximity to offender. Okay, so how close you are to the attacker. Next is target suitability. What are the attributes of yourself that attract you to the attacker? Okay, and the guardianship. So what kind of protection you have in order for you to retaliate the attacker? So in online world, this proximity to offender is measured by the number of time you spend on various online activities. Meanwhile, target suitability is measured to the characteristic either of you as individual or your devices or any technology-related object. And guardianship is described as protection. It can be either technical, social, behavioral, and personal. So we'll look later, yeah. So in reviewing the existing studies, we have found that these are the kind of measurement being used, yeah. So for online activities, some researchers have looked into how much time you spend on online shopping, banking, social network site, forum, all these things, yeah. So how much you spend online tend to influence the risk of you being cybercrime. Okay, and also some researchers have looked into target attractiveness. So for example, the kind of information you share online, what kind of internet connectivity you use, whether it is a public connection, private connection, and some social demographics factors influence the higher risk of you become cybercrime victim. So for example, they have looked into age, gender, income, education level, and so on. And as I said just now, guardianship can be divided into a few components. So for example, the first one is technical guardianship, whether having antivirus email filter will be related to the risk of a cybercrime victim. Personal guardianship, so what are the attributes of yourself that can protect you from this cybercrime? So maybe your knowledge, your digital literacy, and also social guardianship. What are the roles of your parents, peers in influencing you to become a cybercrime victim? Okay. So when we look into the existing study, we found several issues. For example, there are contradicting findings of the red factors, which I will highlight later. And these results are very mixed because they mix all types of cybercrimes, but actually these cybercrimes have different modus of operandi. And there is a limited synthesis of usability of red theory. So to move this field further, we really need to understand whether this theory is sufficient or not, or can we expand the use of this theory? Okay, so for example, some inconsistency. In some research, some online activities did not increase the risk of victimization. And to our surprise, in some studies reported that having antivirus did not really have any relationship with cybercrime victimization. Okay, so with all that, these are the study objectives. So first, we want to analyze the usability of RED in terms of the three concepts I explained just now. To compare the findings between cyber dependence and cyber-enabled crimes utilizing the RED theory, and to discuss the applicability of RED theory for cyber crimes and future direction. Okay, so I don't know, maybe some of you have heard this method before. If not, I think it's a good method for you to perform studies without budget. Yeah, so in this pandemic, we can be more active as a researcher to conduct maybe SLR studies that wouldn't need any research budget. Okay, but you need good analytical skills to analyze the papers. So I will just go briefly. What is this process all about? So the first stage is identification. So this is how I collected the papers. I referred to the Scopus database and the Taylor and Francis database. So I've used the routine, I cannot see here, routine activity theory and online crime victimization as the keyword. So when I perform this, it generates 635 papers. So from these two records, there are duplication of papers, so about 3. So I remove the duplicate papers, resulting to 632. And I further screen the records. Okay, how do I screen? Any papers that don't have the RED theory, cybercrime, or online fraud in title and abstracts, we will remove them. So we have removed 597, amounting the final data set here is 35. And we further assess these articles, these 35 papers. We excluded papers that do not have empirical studies. It's just a conceptual paper about RED. And we are not going to include any papers, as I said just now, from the third category. Online harassment, cyberbullying are not included. And we are only keen to focus on studies at individual level. So no studies in organizational or national level are included. So finally, we have 13 papers. And from these 13 papers, we refer to the important references that is not included in our final data set. So from that, we do snowballing process. and we had an extra of another 10 references. So altogether, we have 23 papers from established databases. Okay, so what we do, we analyze, just going to have a glance for it. We analyze the papers in terms of the 3 factors mentioned. You can see here, proximity of offenders, target attractiveness. So what we do is, this is, the asterisk one is significant. So they found that, for example, frequency internet use is significant towards health hacking. So I also have this cross one, means it's not significant. So based on this, this is the first step of analysis. Okay, and next, I'm going to summarize the findings. Okay, so in terms of the first activities, as we can revise just now, RAT have 3 components: activities, target, and guardianship. So in terms of the first factors, what kind of activities influence cyber-enabled versus cyber-dependent crimes? So when we do analysis, there are some mutual activities. It means there are common activities that influence both crimes. So there are the time you spend on online shopping and also online banking. Okay, so ladies, watch out. You are being monitored. Maybe there's possibility to being hacked and so on. So these 2 activities influence both types of crime. As for cyber dependent, as I mentioned just now, cyber dependents are related to technology. So for example, hacking, malware, and so on. You can see here, almost all activities influence the risk of you being a cybercrime. Okay, the time you spend performing online activities influence of you being risk as a victim. So this is what supported the rat theory lah. Basically, the number of time you spend online, the more you spend, the higher risk you become cybercrime victim. And for cyber dependent, we also notice that when you engage in risky activities, there's also risk for you become cybercrime victim. So risky activities here means peer-to-peer sharing, pornography, and downloading some files. So put you in more risk to become cybercrime victim. Okay, and for cyber-enabled, for example, phishing and fraud. Okay, you can see that not so much effect on risky activities for phishing victimization, but there is also some effect of IM forum to the fraud victimization. So, but I want you to notice that here for social networking site, for both cyber crimes, they are not significantly related. One plausible issues is that because they are just measuring the time people spend on SNS, they are not measuring the kind of data shared. So maybe if in future research they couple with time and data shared, it will give more accurate picture which kind of group of people will be exposed to cybercrime victim. Okay, so that is about the first factor. The second factor is about target attractiveness. So what are the attributes of yourself that make you prone to cybercrime victim? Okay, so first of all is we notice that in terms of education, okay, people with higher education are more risky towards identity theft, the cyber-enabled crime. So if you see that we can argue that for identity theft, they need to mimic a person with higher credible, higher status, means people with higher education in order for people to believe them. So these identity theft perpetrators tend to mimic people or to attack people with a higher education profile. And in terms of age, hacking, it is more prone for younger people. Okay, so one plausible explanation is because they spend more time online. Okay, so it is more prone to hacking type of crimes. And older people are more prone to become identity theft. Okay, so one possible explanation is that older people tend to be more, maybe to be more trustworthy of other person, yeah. So, and they might have lower digital literacy, lower awareness about hacking approaches, about cybercrime approaches. Hence, they are more risky to become identity theft victims. Okay, and about gender, some papers shows that women are more susceptible in hacking and malware. So this need further examination why these things happen. Possibly we need to refine more analysis. Does women with low technical knowledge tend to be riskier, or women with higher income, or women who spend much time online? So this question needs to be probed further for us to make a valid conclusion. Okay, and in terms of devices, it has shown that devices connected to the public internet are more prone to be cybercrime victims. Okay, so that is the second factor. And the third factor is about guardianship. Okay, guardianship means what kind of protections that is related to cybercrime victims. Okay, so some mutual factors, some of the common factors, many of the papers showed that the technical guardianship like antivirus not significantly related to victimization. So you can see here the negative one. So having antivirus not really influence, not really related whether you are going to be cybercrime victim or not. And for cyber dependent crimes such as hacking, malware, we notice that digital literacy will influence the risk of being victim. So meaning people with higher digital skill tend to have lower risk. Okay, the same goes to online risk awareness. People who have higher online risk awareness will tend to have lower risk of victimization. Okay. Okay, so those are some important findings from the research. So for future research, we recommend that researchers should move from direct effect of Rex construct. So currently, researchers are examining the three factors individually. Okay, so what we recommend is to consider more interaction effects. So for example, age times digital literacy, gender times income, gender times online, gender times the time online they spend, and other possible combination of factors. Okay, and we also notice that not only time exposure matters, but also data exposure. So for example, measurement of exposure should not focus on time exposure alone, but also measure the data exposure, what types of data being disclosed. Okay, and the third one, most of the studies that I have reviewed are cross-sectional surveys. So we believe that more longitudinal studies needed to understand the influence of each factors pre and post victimization. So especially to understand the role of antivirus. Okay, and the last one is more guardianship factors can be explored, yeah, besides the current one we are having. So I guess that's all from me. I hope you have some idea about cyber crimes and the REC theory, and also the SLR method that we have applied. So thank you for now. I'll be happy to answer questions later. Thank you.
Second speaker is Associate Professor Dr. Masood Muhammadian from Canberra University, Australia. Assalamualaikum, Professor.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you for your invitation.
Okay, how are you today?
Very good.
Okay, thank you. Australia is very beautiful country. I spent more than 2 years in Perth and Melbourne.
Yes.
But maybe later in Canberra. Okay.
Yes.
Professor Masood holds a PhD degree from the University of Central Queensland, MSc degree from the University of Central Queensland, and undergrad degree at the Flinders University, all in Australia. His research are related to neural network, physiology. It's so many. I cannot read all. So need hours to read your curriculum. And then also in decision support system, data security and privacy, application industrial, financial, and business problem, which involves real-time data processing, planning, and so many research. Okay. Professor Masood will talk about using data mining in modeling relationship and prediction of local health issues, combine data sets from supermarket and health data. This is indeed very interesting topic, as now we are very considerate about the health issues and lifestyles. So Professor Masood, you have about 20 minutes to speak. Time is yours now.
Thank you very much for your kind invitation. I will share my screen, and I'm grateful to everyone that has organized the international conference on global conference on digital technology and information systems, and with the theme of Intro to Digital World. I was in my last trip around the world was in Indonesia in 2019, and I miss very much the Indonesian country, people, culture, food, and your hospitality. Thank you again for inviting me, and it's an absolute honor and pleasure for me to deliver the talk today for you. I also wish everyone in Indonesia and all around the world the best of the health with the current situation with the COVID. I will discuss a few issues and data analytics on COVID, and also some opportunities that exist for collaboration between Indonesia and Australia with the grant that is actually right now available from the Australian government. So the title of my talk is Modeling Relationship and Predictions of Local Health Issues Using Data Mining Techniques for Large Combined Data Sets from Supermarket and Health Data. Just go back to my screen. So basically, the talk will be very straightforward. I will give you a very brief introduction, some motivations of the work we are doing, data availability that exists right now, and the large amount of data. And also I have put in some notes, and that you can download those data if you want to do some research on the data mining and data analytics. And then how to combine the data that's collected from different sources to get some conclusions and informations to assist us with decision-making in different areas of our daily life. Basically, as you all know, large amount of data is stored from people activities, and as Professor Rohaya Ahmad, the previous keynote speaker, mentioned, large amount of data is collected, and the issue that she has mentioned, the professor mentioned, was on cybersecurity. So large amount of data is collected and stored about us all around the world. If basically used correctly, can benefit people and provide us with information about the health and well-being of people around the world. And such a health and well-being information can provide decision makers, such as policymakers, in many diverse areas. I apologize, it's just I moved too fast on my screen. decision makers, policy makers, government officials, and health professionals to assist us. Especially, you can appreciate the situation we are in at the moment all around the world with this virus. So the current power of data mining and the power of computers and new technologies and the programming languages that can basically harness large amount of data that is either in the databases or are structured in Excel files or text files from the data from your smartwatch, from your phone, and other information such as data purchases from supermarket in certain areas, in a certain country, in a certain city. So as you can appreciate these days, we use applications that basically identifies where our movements are. This is in regard to COVID-19. So for tracking and tracing people, identifying people that have been in vicinity and close to places or people that may have COVID virus and may basically be infected. So this is one thing that we can collect from the smartwatches and also smartphones, specifically from the smartphones with apps that we install on that. But coming back to that, and let's talk about something much more refreshing on supermarket data. Basically, the data is collected on supermarkets based on the loyalty cards that we provide to the people. Also, and using the loyalty cards, identify who is purchasing which product on which day, what time, which month of the year, which day of the week, etc. And in the past, we used this data to predict purchases of the customers, and you can search the databases of research papers, and there are a large amount of papers available on predicting what the customer will buy when they enter a supermarket or a shop. And that's well used for marketing purposes. But here we are looking at the data and looking at the purchases that the people do on the products and the ingredients in each product that we know of, and then how it will affect certain part of the city where this supermarket is, or the people that are buying this kind of data. So the Tesco is a British multinational grocery supermarket chain, and the data that I will look at here, and it's available for you if you want to do some research on that, is about the data in 2015. In 2015, basically this supermarket chain has been the 9th highest gross retailer with $81 billion in the revenue in the UK, with 28% of the market in the UK, or the supermarket in the UK belonging to them. So they operate a loyalty card. This is a card where you register, and when you purchase and you scan your card, you receive points. And for those points, you either can receive some cash money, or you can use your points to purchase other goods and services from this supermarket. So we are looking at the basic supermarket. The data is a record of 420 million food items that was purchased by 1.6 million card holders. So anybody that purchased any products and didn't have a card and didn't scan, you don't have the data. And this is the issue we have with the data. This is not a complete data, but it's still fairly large amount of data. 420 million food items was purchased by 1.6 million people in 411 supermarkets, Tesco supermarkets, in the greater London areas. Not the whole country, but just in that part. So the data can be the programs that are available. You can download them, and I've put the data, the link there. So the data is there, and also the Python programs that you can use to do some analysis if you would like. So for each data, for each product or food item, we know exactly the price of the item and also all the ingredients. What is in that product? How much sugar is in there? How much oil is in there? The amount of fiber, nutrition, calories, it's all there. And if you can look at it also in Indonesia, on the back of each product that you purchase in the supermarket, the details are written. And it's also through a barcode that we can identify all the nutritional of any products. The next thing is what I want to take your attention is not just the products that we purchase and eat, but also what we do in our daily life. If you are very active, you walk a lot, then we may be able to burn the products and that we eat if we're eating a lot of sugar, oil, and other not very desirable products. So the other part of the data that comes into this study is the data collected from smartwatches and smartphones. And this data is also available to you. I'm putting the details here and also at the end of my presentation. And if you like, please contact the organizers. They have my latest PowerPoint presentations, and I would be more than happy if they share the presentations with you, so you can basically go and download the data if you want. The data that I have here is from 2016, but it still is very relevant. And the data on the 2016, basically on the number of adults that have got the smartphones in developing countries and developed countries. So 69% of people in developing countries have got smartphones. This is based on the data on 2016. This is a bit old, and 46% of people in developing countries have got smartphones. That's very important. Why is it important? Because we can capture data from mobile devices about the date and time, day of the week, time of the day, the temperature, movement and exercise data of the people, heart rate, the sleep patterns data, accelerations and locations where they move, the communication data, and interactions that they have with those communications. And this can provide us with the insight into the lives of the people, what they do. And the issue comes here, and I will talk about collecting this data is data that you're collecting from your smart devices. Are they with you to your benefit, or are they against you? So I'll talk about that right at the end. So we're talking about terabytes of data that's collected every day from billions of actions of millions of people. And when I talk about actions, walking, using devices, and browsing the web, sending messages, receiving messages, taking pictures, etc. So with availability of data about millions of people's behavior, it is now possible to analyze and track people's health behaviors over a long period of time. This was not possible before. This is now possible and can be done. We are no longer required to do experiments in the labs to collect data with just a few people and with a costly lab equipment and getting people to collect the data for a short period of time and then do the analysis on this limited amount of data. So we can now find out data from supermarkets of what people are purchasing, data about the smartwatches and the smartphones of the people in certain countries, in certain places, and I will show you some information, very interesting ones, and relate them together. So what the people are buying and what they do in their daily lives, because your smartwatch, a smartphone, gives lots of information about how active you are, what people purchase, we can get, and what kind of exercises people do, what kind of food is and exercise is popular in certain part of the world, in a certain city, certain suburb, and how often people purchase products in certain areas, how often people that live in that area exercise, what are the most popular times of the day, and exercising and training, how often people communicate and how do they communicate. That's very important, and all the data is available. So who needs the answer to such questions? And you may just think of your own privacy. Of course, the collecting this amount of data is not correctly used will cause damage to the privacy of the people. So because we now can do analysis of people in certain countries, in the certain city of a country, on their behaviors, social interactions, and basically researchers decision makers, professionals, policymakers, governments, city and park designers, and business owners can use the results of analysis of this data to improve the life of people if we basically apply the results correctly. So we collect data about activities, movements, communications, SMS, chats, phone calls, sleep and resting, heart rates, and many other activities of the people, where they are, their locations, what they do, are they walking, running, how fast they're walking. And we can correlate this data with the food purchased from certain areas related to the same people and make some conclusions. Of course, there are some limitations, but you can now see a new world is opening up to us if it is correctly, the analysis is correctly done and used. So now by including weather data, we know the temperature of the day, weather data, accessibility to the parks and places in the cities, the location where people are, we can improve our understanding of data collected.
Professor Masood, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You only have 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll go very fast.
Thank you so much.
Basically, I will move on with that. So the data I'm going to show is on 68 million days of activities of 7 people in 111 countries. So let's just quickly look at that. And based on that data, we want to show you what is the activity of the people. Here is a map of the world from the data we have from 60 million days of activities of 7 million people. And what you can see based on the color on this map, it shows the activities of the people and the countries that are more active or the countries that are less active. So as it goes through red, it shows the people that are basically less active. And some are, of course, some part of the world we don't have the data on. So what you can see here, that the people in Mexico and people in the United States walk almost the same amount of time on the number of steps. But why there is obesity is much higher in US than Mexico? Of course, you can guess it. It's because of the food consumption. So if the food consumption is high, activities is low, or activities is the same as other countries that use lower food, eat less, or eat food with less sugar, oil, and other ingredients, of course, there won't be any obesity. Here it is, the activities of the people in different parts of the world. And you can see, and it's very surprising here, when you look at the United States and Saudi Arabia, almost the same number of steps is taken by people in both countries when you take the average of the data we have. Very interesting. Here it is of parks, footpaths that are available and people can walk, and the amount of the number of steps that they take at different time of the day in different countries. And you can compare this data now and basically make policies that if it is useful to make footpaths, make parks or not. Does it improve the health of the people? Finally, I'm going really fast on this. I'm coming to the smartwatch and the smartphones. Out of the smartwatch and the smartphone data, we look at the purchase data on the supermarkets, and we can basically look at the populations, number of male and females, number of residents, the age of the residents, and basically the density, the number of houses in certain areas. So it's all this data is available. And then do the analysis on that and predict, for example, this is an estimate of diabetics predictions based on the data from the supermarket I talked about. That's done by Elio. The data and the programs is available. You can use them, you can run them and get the same basically graphs. And in different part of Greater London, because this data is basically on that area. So how the data was collected, the purchases of the people related to the areas where they purchased. Although you may buy your products from certain suburbs, but you live in other part of the town. This is something very unusual if people live near the supermarkets and don't purchase their goods and services from that supermarket. But although we also have got the address of the person that purchased the products. So coming right at the end, the limitations of this study is that despite the importance of the studying food consumption, there's little data about what people actually eat over a long period of time. Now with the new technologies, we can collect the data and we can improve our predictions of what people do. So as you know, there's large amount of data collected from supermarket data, smartphones, as I mentioned, for designing, implementing innovative policies to improve daily life of people. When I talk about daily life on medical, physical and mental health and well-being. And you can appreciate the amount of data that now we are collecting from around the world, and look at the data and the reports that just, this report that I look at is just about 12 months old. And if you look at the data and the analysis 12 months ago, that was the predictions of $113 million needs to be put in, for example, into certain part of the economy in Indonesia. In Indonesia, that was in 2020, before COVID hit so badly the Indonesia. Now we have the data, and of course, the estimations for making contribution to health, protections, food security, logistics has to be increased. So what I wanted to finally mention, and I will stop, I apologize for running late, is that now we have got the data, we have the models, we have the knowledge to be able to do analysis and make predictions. Thank you. I'll stop here. The details are there at the back of my slides. All the data that I have mentioned, you can download about the Tesco. It's all published, available. You can use them. The programs are also there. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Professor Masud. I'm sorry, but the time flies so fast.
Yes.
So maybe later we can have another seminar in the conference, and we will invite you again and talk more deeply about this case. Okay.
Yes, I wish you, the conference organizers, and everyone in Indonesia and around the world all the best. Hopefully there would be a day again that we can travel and without any issues. Thank you again for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are still with us, because right now we are going to fly to India. So our third speaker is from Sharda University, India. Namaste, Professor Parmanan. Are you here with us right now? Okay. Because I cannot hear your voice.
Yeah,
okay.
Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, namaste.
Namaste.
Okay, how are you today, Professor?
All well, all well.
Thank you so much. So, you know, Professor, Shah Rukh Khan and Taj Mahal has been very fallen in love with your country.
Famous. Yeah. Now new heroes has come.
Okay. I have visited Sharda University in 2030, about 7 years ago, and signed MOU with your president. So I'm very happy that one of lecturers from Sharda University can be here right now with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Parmanan Asia is a PhD in computer science and engineering from IIT Roorkee, Magister Technology and Bachelor Technology in computer science and engineering from IIT Delhi. His research interests includes computer graphics, algorithm distributed computing, and wireless and sensor networking. This is also my area. I'm really happy with the wireless discussion. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our world now is surrounded by artificial intelligence. Every day, computer as a machine is forced to learn, identify patterns, and make decisions with minimal intervention from humans. So Professor Pamanan, he will give us an insight about a number of machine learning and deep learning applications. So Professor, you also have 20 minutes to deliver your speech. Thank you, please.
Thank you, ma'am. And good morning again to all of you. It's my pleasure to be one of the presenter, keynote speaker in your esteemed conference. And I'm thankful to all the organizers for organizing such a wonderful event. I was looking at the keynote speakers topics, and they are really good, and all of them are latest and relevant to each other. So my topic is machine learning and deep learning applications. Machine learning and deep learning, of course, based on your artificial intelligence system. And as we know that the artificial intelligence is not a very new area. Even in the early 80s, a lot of work was going on the AI machine learning. But with the time and availability of the better algorithms, protocols, and as well as high computing machines, today we are in a position to get a better and much more efficient outcomes. And that is why a lot of research is going on in this area. In fact, unknowingly and knowingly, we are using machine learning, deep learning, or AI in day-to-day our business. You look at any other your platform like your Google, they are suggesting your routes while driving. Your other platforms like Google, they're giving and suggesting some of the answers for your queries. And some of the sites of the songs, they are suggesting good songs as per your mood. And this is all because of the research and outcomes of your machine learning and deep learning. To let us understand what is AI, machine learning, and DL, see, all of them are subset of AI, machine learning. Machine learning is a technique which enables machine to mimic human behavior. And the machine learning is a subset of AI, and it is a technique which use statistical methods to enable machine to improve with the experience. And the subset of all this, that it's a deepest one, is a deep learning. That's what the name is also suggesting. And it's a subset of the machine learning, which makes the computers are a multi-layer neural network feasible. We can understand from this life cycle of machine learning. We are having 7 steps here. The first step is to data gathering, data preparation, and the second one, third is data wrangling. And the fourth one is analyzer, analyze the data, train the model, test the model, and then finally deployment, and finally to predict some outcomes. The first one is data gathering, that's to identify the correct and suitable data sources and from where that you can collect the data. If you are getting the data from multiple sources, then integrate the data obtained from different sources. And after getting the data, you need to prepare the data, because data is, whatever the data you have downloaded is completely raw, may not be in usable form, and therefore we need to prepare data as per our requirement. And so we need to prepare the data, and this process has got two processes in between. That's a data exploration and data pre-processing. And the next process is a data wrangling. In this process, we try to filter the data and convert the data into our required formats. While doing so, we may find that some of the data is missing, or the values of some of the your attributes are missing, or the data is duplicated at some places. Data may be invalid, or you may have a noise in that data. So we need to filter the data so that it becomes suitable for your requirement. Next one is data analysis. In that, we need to have a different techniques to analyze the data. And for that, we need to select very appropriate analytical techniques, then build the model and review the result and so on. And then, of course, you need to train the model. And once the model is trained, you need to test the model and then finally deploy to get the output. If we look at the different categories of the machine learning, that these category of the machine learning is divided into two parts majorly. One is the supervised learning and the unsupervised learning. And of course, the third angle is there, that the reinforcement learning. If you look at the supervised learning, we have sub-classification, subsets of the supervised learning. One technique is the classification technique. The another is your regression technique. And if you look at the regression technique, then we have got some examples here. We are having examples here. It can be used in your popularity predictions, weather forecasting, market forecasting, and so on. Similarly, if we look at the classification model, we can use the customer retention. It can be used in a diagnostic model, etc. And then if we come to the unsupervised learning, so again, in this category also, we got some subcategories as well. If we look at the clustering, it can be used in recommending any other system, and it can be used in a segmentation processes. Okay. Then the third is the reinforced learning. So again, we have got some examples here where it can be used, where we can use this reinforcement learning technique. How do we differentiate between the machine learning and deep learning? In machine learning, all the features, relevant features are extracted manually out of the images. Of course, if we are working on the images, and then these features are being used to create a model on the basis of our need. But in the deep learning, these features are being extracted automatically. We do not do anything manually. And of course, it is very important to note here, if the data is very huge, and of course, when we are using the AI machine learning or deep learning, we are expecting data to be very huge. Extracting all the features manually, it may not be possible. And therefore, at those places, the deep learning is much more suitable. This is one of the example here. Suppose we are applying the concept of machine learning and deep learning in identifying and classifying the vehicles. So in the machine learning, since we are saying that in machine learning features are being extracted manually at this process, so we are doing a different kind of features extraction manually and then classifying on the basis of those features. Now, here, suppose the objective is to identify whether your vehicle is car, truck, bicycle, cycle, etc. Then you are extracting the features and then classifying these vehicles. Now, suppose we are going much more deeper in classifying the vehicles. Let us go for the only one example, that is of car. Within the car, we can have different kind of manufacturer. It may be it may be a Suzuki, it may be Toyota, it may be other vendor. And then within that, we may look for the different variant of the car, different kind of model. It is a model of 2019, model of 2020, model of 2021, and of course the different kind of brands. Looking at these kind of features and classifying manually, it will be very, very difficult. If it is done, then the accuracy may not be that accurate as we are going to get in deep learning. And therefore, in deep learning, we are extracting all things automatically as the process of deep learning. And of course, while doing it, we are using different kind of technique of deep learning. This output will be, of course, efficient enough. Accuracy will be more. Now, similar to the life cycle of the machine learning, we got a life cycle of model life cycle of deep learning as well. So in the beginning, you need to create the model, and on the basis of data and data labels and the references model, you create a model. Then you need to train and test the model and then evaluate it. If your output is accurate and efficient as per your satisfactory level, then it can go for your production. You can serve this model for and wherever you require. If it is your evaluation model is giving the result which is not satisfactory level, then we need to go and update this model again. You need to train again with your more data if it is required, and then finally again we evaluate, and finally if we are getting the satisfactory level in getting the output, we put it in the production. Okay, this is one of the example here of the deep learning. We are having 3 levels here. One is your input layer, then another is your hidden layer, which is called weight layers, and finally the third layer, that is output layer. As I said in the last slide, if you are getting the correct prediction, correct output, then you can go for finally getting the outputs, etc. But if you are not getting the output correctly, then we need to go a bit more processes and finding the loss function and then use it. And then finally, we are using the optimizers to optimize, get the results more accurately. For that, we may require to adjust our weights, which are giving us these neural nodes. So accordingly, we adjust the loads. We may increase, decrease, or whatever it is required to make the perfection in the model. We do it. Now this is one of the example here for identify the damages in any of the building. So this is the building image. So these are being taken as an input. On the basis of different inputs of the building, we are creating this model here. You can look at, we have got multiple layers here. And at the end, we are getting some output in the form of the whether the building is damaged or not. And we are looking at if the damages which are being identified by this our model is satisfactory, then it's okay. Otherwise, we'll go again in the loop here and we do the update the model. Okay. Finally, once we get the model at our satisfaction level perfectly, then we deploy it, and you can see here this is the image, the model.
I'm sorry. Hello.
Hello.
Professor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you only have 5 minutes left.
Okay,
I'm
I
sorry.
will try to wind up. Correct.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
So this is the output which is giving you the damaged part of your building. So different kind of models are there. That is a feed forward model in the deep learning. That's the signals are being given only one direction. So input is given, then output is you are getting. The another model, since I have to rush a bit, so I'll go a bit faster. So this is the another model, that is feedback network model. In back, on the basis of your outputs and to need to better improvements in the model, we have a feedback in the model itself. Okay, and then one of the mostly used model is a CNN model, that is called convolutional network model. And this model, there are different processes here and different layers are there. So we have a convolutional layer, then pooling layer, and then fully connected layers. And at each layer, these layers are being playing different roles, and every layer gives the input, takes the input, and gives the output as an input to the next layer. Okay. This is what the example of which I am showing here. As I said, we have a different layers. So we have a convolution layer, we have a pooling layer, we have a convolution layer, and then finally the classifier. This is a complete CNN model. Similar to the previous models, we have another very important model that is called the recurrent neural network model. As the name is suggesting that the recurrent. So in this model is a recursion technique, and it is recursion technique is built up over the model layer, and that is why it is called the RNN model. So this is example of your RNN model layer. You can see here we are re-looping here. That is we recursing, making the recursion here as a part of the RNN model. Okay. So there are different RNN types here. One-to-one, that is here only a single output and single input in this model. Another model is one-to-many. Here we are having a single input and multiple output, and it is being used in the image captioning here. We'll just see in the next slides here. And then another model is many-to-one. Here we are giving the many inputs, but we are getting the only single output. This kind of model is being used in the sentiment analysis and sentiment predictions, and it is being commonly used. And another model is the many-to-many. We are having the multiple inputs, and similarly we get a multiple output as well. So this is being used in your NLP, natural language processing, and converting one language to another language. We are using this model. So this is one of the example here. Person is trying to dance, and this RNN model is trying to caption the image. And after using this model, your model is going to caption this image by saying the guy is dancing, doing a dancing step. Okay. So, of course, I'm just going ahead. So we are using the deep learning in the computer vision as well. So in this model, we are having the input as an image, and output is the classification. Like in this model, if we are looking at the traditional model in the computer vision, we are giving the input image as an input, and features are being taken directly from the image. And of course, we are using some features vectors here. And after using some logistic regression model, then finally it is going to label that this animal is a cat. But doing this, the accuracy is found to be not as better as it expected. And therefore, when we apply the deep learning model, so again, we are giving the image as an input. And when we apply the neural network model, we may have a CNN model, we may have another RNN model, etc. Then it is going to classify, and that label this animal as a cat. Another application in the deep learning in the computer vision. Suppose there is some animal in the object, in the animal in the image, and we need to find and we need to locate that animal in our image. By doing this and using your deep learning, we are able to locate in this image. So this is one. Now similarly, we can have a suppose in an image we have got multiple objects. Okay, like you can see here, we are having the cat. We have got a duck and dog in this image. Then it will be very much useful in identifying these different animals and birds in a single image, and we can put it in a frame to typically identify this. A very good use of the deep learning in the NLP. Of course, I've got covered some of them. Spamming and filtering spam in our mailing system. You must have seen in a Google and Yahoo, whatever the mailing system you may be using. There is special processor where some of the mails is got completed analysis based, and then of course if the analysis says that it is a spam, and if you feel that it is not a spam, and of course you can say that it is not a spam, and so this is the use in LLP. And of course, one of the example of deep learning in the speech recognition. In the speech recognition, we are using this as a part of the voice dialing called routine search and simple data. And I will just take one other good example here. Speech recognition journey. It's not speech recognition is not very late. It was being used quite back in the 1950s, and that Bell Lab designed it's an orderly system which was capable of recognizing only a digit by a single voice. Then in the 1960s, the IBM has created the IBM Box, and this system was capable of recognizing 16 words is spoken into a microphone and convert those sounds into the electrical impulses. Then in the 1970, developed at the Carnegie Mellon, and this system was capable and
I'm sorry, Professor. Are you still with us right now? Hello, Professor. Okay. So maybe there is a problem with the
Can
connection.
you hear me?
Oh, okay, I can hear you now. Welcome back. Yes, I can hear you right now.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so do you still have any slides to show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
so I'll just
1 minute left. Is it okay?
One.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just go to the final slide. Wait a minute.
Thank you.
We got some more computational models here, and deep learning can be used in side effects. It can be used in weather forecasting, and it can be used in tracking infectious disease. Now, the final slide I am coming to, it can be very well used in Industry 4.0, where we are having your Industry 4.0 model here. in this model, we are having the smart manufacturing, machine learning, and artificial used in complete system of smart manufacturing. It can be used in improvising the processes. It can be used in making a better in designs. It can be used in a customer satisfaction level. It can be used in equipment, optimal usage of the equipment. And of course, it can be in better recording of your complete industry, your items, equipments, data. Once you are using your DL, you are in a position to improve the quality of your production. You can improve the energy level used. We can optimize. We can minimize the energy being used. We can minimize the usability of your raw material. And similarly, we can use at different level of your different cycles of the smart manufacturing. And hence, I like to conclude that wherever the manual processes are there, if we are using our machine learning or deep learning, we are in a position to improve and enhance our production. So thank you so much again, all the organizers, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Over to our anchor.
Thank you, Professor Pamanan. Thank you so much for the explanation about machine and deep learning. So we continue our journey and heading to Turkey to meet our fourth speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Serhat Dunan from Bandar University. Merhaba, Professor.
Merhaba. Yes. First of all, good morning, everyone.
Okay, this is midnight, right, in Turkey?
Okay. First of all, good morning, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Let me introduce you first. So, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Serhat had bachelor degree on Bachelor of Science in the field of electrical and electronic engineering, and continue his study on Master of Science in the field of electrical education, both from Düz University, Turkey. He received doctoral degree in the field of electrical engineering from Kocaeli University, also in Turkey. Okay. Serhat Duman is currently the head of electrical engineering department of Faculty of Engineering and Natural Science in Bandar University. He will talk about how to solve optimal power flow problem in power system. So Professor Duman, you have 20 minutes to talk. Time is yours now. After this, you can back to sleep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can you show my presentation slide? Okay. First of all, good morning, everyone. Before I begin my presentation, I would like to thank the conference committee for inviting me as a keynote speaker. Okay, the other slide. Okay, my presentation content includes three main titles. First title is the overview of meteoristic algorithms. Secondly, classification of power system planning and operation problems. Lastly, usage of meteoristic algorithms for solving optimal power flow problems. The other slide. Okay. Overview of meteoristic algorithms. What is the optimization? The optimization can be defined as the process of finding the conditions that provided the minimum or maximum value of a chosen objective function within the specified constraints. There are two main parameters for designing an optimization problem. We can say that these are the control and state variables, or independent or dependent variables. Important of the control and state variables. The control variables are the parameters which the optimal variables are designing, finding in an optimization problem. Indeed, the optimal control variables are the parameters that help to find the minimum or maximum value of the objective function. Secondly, the state variables are used to apply a penalty value to the objective function. Here, it looks at whether the state variables meet the equality and inequality limits. If it meets, the penalty value is not applied. If not, the penalty value is applied. When the penalty value is not applied, the objective function becomes equal to the fitness function, and the convergence curves show the accuracy of the results. Meteoristic algorithms. Nowadays, with the advancement of the technology, the use of the meteoristic algorithm in engineering and the other science fields has increased with the production of supercomputers or computers with powerful hardware. Research groups working on meteoristic algorithms have recently presented many algorithms as open source code to the literature for the use of other researchers. Some research groups have presented hybrid algorithms to the literature by combining the weakness of the meteoristic algorithms. They have determined with the strength of the algorithms. The success of the proposed algorithms is tested in the benchmark test suites in the literature. For the example, Wilkinson and Friedman statistical analysis of the results obtained from test functions proved to be statistically superior to the other algorithms. When we examine the structure of meteoristic algorithms in the literature, these algorithms can be classified in 5 main groups.
I'm sorry, Professor. Could you give me a sign when you want to move to the next slide?
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. This slide, classification of meteoristic algorithms. First, evolutionary algorithm. Second, swarm intelligence. Third, physical algorithms. Fourth, bio-inspired algorithms. Fifth, other algorithms, we can say. The next slide. Okay. Some of these evolutionary algorithms are listed as follows. We can say that these are genetic algorithm, differential evolution algorithm, evolutionary programming, harmony search, mimetic algorithm, canonical selection algorithm, backtracking search optimization algorithm, etc. Next slide. Swarm intelligence algorithm are listed as follow. We can say that these are particle swarm optimization, ant colony optimization, artificial bee colony, fish swarm algorithm, spotted hyena optimizer, etc. Next slide. Physical algorithms. Some of its physical algorithms are listed as follow. We can say these are gravitational search algorithm, wind-driven optimization, leading bodies optimization, charged system search, galaxy-based search algorithm, etc. Bio-inspired algorithms are listed as below. We can say gray wolf optimizer, firefly algorithm, cuckoo search, moth swarm algorithm, bacterial foraging optimization, artificial immune system, kill herd algorithm, etc. Other algorithms, some of its other algorithms are listed as below: glowworm swarm optimization, spiral optimization algorithm, Jaya or algorithms, SIN-E, COST-E algorithm, Giza pyramids construction, mine blast algorithm, leech championship algorithms, etc. Here, the classification of planning and operation problems of power systems is shown. Power systems have many planning and operating problems due to their large and complex structure. And recently, the researchers have focused on solving this problem. And these problems remain as a hot topic in the field of power systems. We can say that some of these are listed as follows. A, economic power dispatch. B, optimal power flow problem. C, optimal reactive power dispatch problem. D, optimal measurement and sizing distributed generator. E, optimal coordination problem and of directional overcurrent relay. F, optimal energy and operation management of microgrids. G, transmission expansion planning problems. H, reconfiguration problem of the photovoltaic panels. E, determination of the maximum power point in the photovoltaic system. Next slide. Uses of meteoristic algorithm for solving optimal power flow problems. What is the OPF problem or optimal power flow? The optimal power flow problem is one of the most important power system optimization tools for the planning and operation of power systems. It is described as a non-convex, non-linear, large-scale optimization problem of power systems. To obtain optimal solution control variable values, it must provide the inequality constraints for minimization of the certain objective function under the different or various operational conditions. Next slide. What varieties is or are the OPF problem? First, classical OPF problem. Second, OPF problem, including fixed devices. Third, OPF problem, including high voltage direct current systems. Fourth, OPF problem, including a HVDC system with fixed devices. Next slide. Fifth, OPF problem with renewable energy sources, for example, wind, PV, small hydro, and tidal, etc. Sixth, OPF problem with renewable energy sources, including fixed devices. Fixed is mean a flexible alternating current transmission system. Seventh, OPF problem including renewable energy sources on HVDC systems based on voltage surge converter, etc. How to determine the control and state variables of the OPV problem. The control variables, as I said at the beginning of my presentation, determining the control and state variable is very important in solving an optimization problem. For example, solve an optimal power flow problem, including fixed device. The control variables can be determined as follows. First, the control variables, first, active power outputs of the generating units in escalating at the slack bus or swing bus. The terminal voltage values of the generating units, the transformer operator. Next slide. Shunt wire compensator, the operating range of the twistor controlled series compensator device, fast shift angle of the twistor controlled fast shift device, etc. The state variables, the active power value of the generator in this sequence, the voltage magnitude values of all the loads, the reactive power values of the generating units, the apparent power values of the transmission line on the power system. Next slide. Okay, determination of the objective functions of the OPV problem. Here, study case of the objective functions of an optimal power flow involving wide energy in power system are shown. With these working scenarios, it is aimed to determine the working conditions of power system to meet the equality and inequality limits specified by using different objective functions. We can list these objective functions as follows.
Professor, I'm sorry, you only have 5 minutes left.
Okay.
I'm sorry about this. Thank you.
The other slide. Thank you. How to use the optimization algorithms for solving the varieties of OPV problem. The other slide. Okay. In here slide, this flow chart shows the application of this symbiotic organism search algorithm to an optimal power flow problem. The symbiotic organism search algorithm optimization method is one of the new heuristic algorithms inspired by the symbiotic interaction phenomenon in ecosystems. Symbiotic relationship is defined as the relationship between the organisms in the ecosystem, with each organism in the ecosystem representing a candidate solution in the search space of an optimization problem. At the beginning of the algorithm, the initial population or ecosystem is randomly constituted for the candidate solution of problem. First, the organisms are created for the candidate solution, and the candidate solution vector is generated depending on the limit values of the variables. The symbiotic organism search algorithm has a simple structure and includes the 3 phases of mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. The algorithm was used to solve a main optimization problem in various engineering and the other scientific fields. The next slide. Here, all of the independent variables seen in this figure represent the control variables. The optimal values of the control variables are found within the limits specified by the optimization algorithm. The process is continued by the optimization algorithm until the stopping criterion set by the user is met. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Professor. So I know you have special request to the committee that the participant of this conference cannot deliver or address question to you. Unfortunately, because what you have shown to us is very interesting topic.
Okay,
so before you leave, do you want to say something?
I would like to express my respects to the organizers and participation.
Okay, so I don't know how to say this, but hopefully the pronunciation is right. Grosmek Uzera. Hope to see you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Goodbye.
so much.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, you cannot ask your questions to our previous speakers, but if you have any questions, maybe you can email the committee, and the committee will forward your questions to him. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now I will fly you back to Lampung, my lovely hometown, to meet our fifth speaker, Dr. Said Hasibuan from IBI Dharma Jaya. Assalamualaikum, Pak. Are you here with us?
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, let me introduce you first. So Dr. Hasibuan had bachelor degree of informatics engineering program from Bina Dharma University. He holds master degree in computer science and recently just received his doctoral degree. Congratulations, Pak Said. In
Thank
Faculty
you.
of Electrical Engineering and Information Technology from Gajah Mada University. We are glad you're back here. Okay. He is active as a reviewer and editor of several reputable international journals indexed by Scopus and Web of Science. He also becomes a reviewer of the indexed national journals. And Dr. Said will talk about the transformation for future. So Pak Said, you have about 20 minutes to let us know what is the future. So make sure the future is good, ya Pak.
Yes,
Terima
insya Allah.
kasih. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Miss Lia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
You can see my slide?
Yep.
Yes,
You
okay,
can see
thank
your
you.
slide. So that's the future.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Please.
This is my slide topic, the transformation for the future. And this is my email. Maybe we can to correspondent to another session to talk, because I have only 20 minutes to presentation. This is our agenda. The first, the data about the definition, and I think it's same what the Mr. Prof. Mahmud to Muhammad to explain about that data, but I explain detail for fundamental data, and second to digital technology, and the third to OECD framework. Motivation to our presentation is about the data. Data is very important because the key to customer satisfaction we can get from the data. We can see the what we call the pyramid, knowledge pyramid, from the data, information to knowledge and to wisdom. You can see the data is individual fact, figure like signal, measurement, something like that. It's not meaning, but with we can be operate the data to information with organized structure, categories usable can be calculated so that data is have the information. Information to combine into another information have the knowledge, and last knowledge can be wisdom to understand integration, and we can have the decision making to understand what the problem is in our organization, our institution, something like that. Okay, this is a point. Are we ready to transformation for the future? Because in Indonesia, our campus and government organization must have the plan to transformation. So we must to have to plan to understand what the future next in the technology. The first is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is already in use with the like the chat box in the university. We have the chat box in Dharma Jaya. As you can see, you can use the chat box to maybe to want to know about what the degree we have, what the market, what the student we have done, something like that. This is using the artificial intelligence, but the not the high to artificial, but the middle to artificial. So this is the point, using in artificial intelligence to delivery and to delivery service to student. And second, augmented reality. Augmented reality, you can see overlaying the real world, the digital information. For example, supply information about the latest medical research. You can see the picture in my slide. Surgeon with the surgery, so they can deal whatever they find. So this is a point for the scientist or doctor or operate the patient. And the other image, you can see the augmented reality to see about the restaurant in the town, about the hotel, about the store, or something like that. We can see in the phone, and they look real. This is the point for augmented reality. So the question is your organization, is your campus, is your city have the implemented augmented reality? And third, virtual reality. Virtual reality is already used the some faculty like the VHV, becoming more the carbon education as the virtual environment, very available architecture, something like this, something like the a newcomer to technology. So we can see the video about the implementation virtual reality for enterprise and education in the meeting. Yes, this is virtual reality. Same when we use the virtual conference. You know, Miss Lia in other place, keynote speech in other place in Turkey, in Malaysia, but we can use the virtual conference like the what the meaning is very. I think it's very good to see when we used to meeting Zoom, standard Zoom meeting is boring. Now we can see the difference about the virtual reality and augmented reality. Virtual reality is the digital reaction and of the environmental around the user. Augmented reality is overlay virtual element in the real world. This is the difference of the virtual reality and augmented reality. And next,
okay, so Pak Said,
yes,
you want to say that the virtual reality gives souls to the meeting, to the online meeting, right?
Yes, yes.
Otherwise, it can be very boring.
Yeah, and now we use the virtual conference. It's not boring. I think you can see the video, many video, but if you
because it's flat, right?
Yes, it's flat. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this is blockchain. This is blockchain. It's not only secure with way to record transaction, cryptography, and use the web financial today, but also increasingly deploy in contract management. And you can see the blockchain. We proposed the SCTP card based the Trove blockchain in IIB Dharma Jaya. So another student, every student have the what I think is what certificate for semester 1, semester 2, and 3, so on. And they have the blockchain and the verification in campus. So we have the verification to understand is the true or not true report or certificate from the Dharma Jaya. So this is idea for security certificate, like the for the degree, master, doctor, or something like that. And fifth, this robot already transforming the workplace, particularly in the industry, but also providing is major impact our academic area, healthcare, construction, manufacturing, ads, and film making. I have the video to Robot Campus. Maybe someday in Indonesia have the robot. This.
Never seen a robot like this. Has to be the first time. What is this thing?
My first reaction when I saw the robot, I said, what? What's it gonna do? Okay.
Rather than spending time in line waiting for food or coffee, or having to stay nearby to the cafeteria, our technology allows employees more freedom to spend time how they want, where they want. Whether it's having a late lunch at your desk during a busy day, or going outside and enjoying a snack with colleagues, our robots can help.
So what we're doing is we're using robots to autonomously deliver food, drinks, and snacks to customers.
We're enabling everyone to order food directly to their building or anywhere they want outside. Beyond the convenience of having food delivered, we aim to save people time. So how does it work?
A campus employee or visitor will go to starshipdeliveries.com,
download the app on your mobile device, and you're in there. That's it. Start ordering food today.
They open the app and they're presented with many options that are available from the local cafeteria.
You can get a burger, you can get a Philly cheesesteak, you can get popcorn, you can get whatever you want.
They drop a pin on the map, and that pin represents where they're going to meet the robot. So they finalize payment, and then they go to a screen that says how long it'll take for the robot to arrive. Typically, it is 15 minutes or less. The kitchen receives a notification that a customer has just placed an order through the Starship app.
When we get an order, we stop what we're doing, we make that order first, get it out quick as we can.
Said?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Preparing the meal.
I don't want to interrupt this video, but you only have 3 minutes left.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So I stopped the video. So,
okay.
Thank you, Miss Lia. The video is to show we about the robot to help some people get the food from the canteen or something like that. So, and next, the 3D printing is very important to visualization and print about the technology, computing, etc. And IoT, maybe IoT, Internet of Things, you can see IoT using in the campus like this, how to connect the platform. You can see, we can use the IoT to manage the lamp, manage the server, manage to see CCTV, something like that. And the last is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, Project 2030, have the collaborated knowledge, skill, and attitude to their work. And we can see this is a framework. Maybe we can go to project how to knowledge, skill, and attitude to be competency our student. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is so good that you show our future is good, even though very complicated because it involves high tech, right? Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Pak Said, before. So this is the discussion time. Okay. You can type your question on chat forum, or you can raise your hand if you want to talk to the speakers directly. For the first part, I will open 3 questions. So I'll remind you again that we have spent 2 hours to talk about cybercrime, data mining, machine learning, power system, and transformation on future. But unfortunately, I remind you again that you cannot deliver questions to Professor Serhat from Turkey because now he's already leave, right? Okay. So I need some helps from the committee. Which questions have been chosen? Okay. First, I will open the chat and let me see. We have first question from Ibu Fitria addressed to Professor Parmanan from India. Professor Parmanan, are you still here with us? Okay. Hello, Professor? Okay, I'm sorry. We talk. So Ibu Fitri, I'm sorry. We will back later to your question. Okay, the second one. This is addressed to Dr. Rahayu. Ibu Rahayu, you are here with us, right?
Sorry, yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Welcome back, Ibu.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the question. Could you give an explanation about the algorithm as powerful to identify cybercrime? So it is very tricky question actually because he asked about the powerful algorithm.
Actually, it's not related to my field, but I just want to give some pointers. So if you talk about algorithm, I think it must so much be related to machine learning, explained by Prof. Parmanan just now. So we can use a machine learning approach to first learn about the previous cyber attacks or cyber crimes. Then they will the algorithm will learn from the previous attacks and forecast and predict whether the cybercrime is happening or not. So I guess that's more on machine learning. Maybe Prof. Parmanan can add later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So I need to say hello again to Professor Parmanan. Professor, are you here with us? Okay, so let me move to next question. Okay, or maybe Professor Masood from Canberra University, because you also concerned about data mining, maybe you have something or some information about cybersecurity or cybercrime that you want to add?
Yes,
So,
thank you. There
yep.
are many algorithms that you can use.
Okay.
Mostly self-learning algorithms using artificial intelligence techniques, machine learning, like neural networks, as Professor from India mentioned. There are many techniques like neural networks. There are also statistical techniques, but the best way these days, because of if you have the data, is to use machine learning techniques. And if you pick up any book on artificial intelligence, machine learning, you will find lots of techniques. And these programs are already available. So if it's not like before that you have to go and sit down and write for months codes and programs. If you're learning R script or Python, so there are lots of packages, artificial intelligence packages, convolution network packages, neural networks packages with backpropagation. So they're available these days and fairly easy. I think the best way for our client participant that's interested is to pick up a book or go online and learn about Python or R script. And the packages comes with them, and you can use the packages instead of spending large amount of time writing your code. Also, I put in my email address. If you need any help, please email me, and I'm more than happy to respond and direct the person to the areas where they can learn more about machine learning.
Okay, thank you so much. So basically, there are so many algorithms can be used in cyber crimes, right, to detect any possible crimes in digital world. So it's depend on the attack, perhaps. So we cannot say this is the strongest one, this is the weakest one, but it's depend on the cases, probably. Yes. Okay, so to the next questions, but you already answered on the chat forum. Okay, someone asked technique used in data analysis. You already answered the question. So maybe, is there any participant that want to talk directly to the speakers? Here we have Dr. Rahayu, we have Professor Masood, we have Professor Parmanan. Hopefully, he will be rejoining with us very soon. And also we have Dr. Syed Hasibuan that already, previously gave us very wonderful explanation about what is the future. Okay, anyone that want to talk to the speakers directly, please raise your hand or your Zoom hand. Not really your hand, okay? I'm sorry, I cannot see from here. Maybe the committee can give me some clue. Is there any participant that raise the hand or click the sign of raise hand?
Not yet.
Okay, so I'm sorry because I cannot see. So maybe the committee can give me the clue, the participant that, okay. Wait a minute. Okay, maybe you can, now you can talk to the participants that want to say. The committee, can you give me a clue? Is there any participants that raise the hand?
No, Ms. Leah.
No?
I think it's enough.
Okay, are you sure? Because what I heard, what I understand that what the speakers already deliver, very interesting research. We can see the, what we call it, the strong relationship between cybercrime and then data mining, machine learning, and also the future. And then also this kind of researchers can create more and more or new research. Like what Dr. Rahayu also presented about the possibility of research in the cybercrime. And also Professor Parmanan talked about a lot of application involved machine learning. What I know that machine learning is now very hot topic. And also Professor Masood talked about data mining and so forth. All these things can create a huge research. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but Professor Parma, I'm not sure. Let me say hi again. Professor Parmanan, are you here with us? Professor Parmanan? So maybe there is a signal problem in Noida, because Sarda in Noida. No? Okay, any question from the participants? Or maybe if you want, maybe now you are doing some research and want to discuss about the future, this is your time, because now here we have the experts in the fields of cyber crimes, data mining, machine learning, and also what I know that Pak Hasibuan also very expert in e-learning, right? If I'm not mistaken, Pak Said Hasibuan. Okay.
Sorry, ma'am. Any question?
Oh, question?
From Andika Putra.
Okay. Andika Putra. So do you want to speak directly to the speaker?
Please, Mr. Andika.
Andika? Okay.
No, just use some comment to
Okay.
ask my question.
Hello? Oh, you use chat forum?
Yes, I just want to use that.
Okay.
Sorry, just comment.
Oh, just comment.
Okay, any the others?
Oh yeah, from Sabikul Imam. Is it correct? Okay, I think Dr. Rahayu and also Professor Masood can respond these questions, and also maybe Pak Said later on. Now, in pandemic era, we see that all of about there's a great shifting into digital way, not except in World Health System. Let me ask about the prediction of the end of the pandemic COVID-19 based on digital analytics, machine learning. It can be predicted or not. So basically the question is, can we predict the end of this pandemic by using machine learning? So I think this is addresses to Professor Masood.
Thank you for your your question. Very interesting question. It's very hard to answer this question at the moment based on the data that's available. There are lots of modeling that's happening, and as you can see with the waves, different waves that is coming, and world is in the 4th and 5th, some countries in the 5th wave of COVID. So we can predict the peaks, and based on that, the number of people that may be losing their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Predicting the future on what will happen and when it will be ending, it's very difficult. And one way that it is suggested by medical community is vaccination and isolation. This is not something simple that can be done. And as you know, we don't have much COVID in Australia, but vaccination rate is very low. And even in countries that have got high vaccination rates, like UK, there's still lots of people getting COVID, but this time they're not dying. So there is a modeling that's being done based on the data. And as we get to know more and more about this virus and different version of this virus, that act differently and affect people in different way, of course we can model. But when the end of COVID will be, I suspect it would be a question that that needs lots of data, and I don't think that will be something that we can predict accurately, and depends on the amount of money that each country spends, the population of the country, the density in the country, and you can see the effect of COVID in different countries. You look at Indonesia and Malaysia, Australia and UK, US and Europe, and they're affecting differently, and the amount of money and support that people provide. So I don't think it's very easy to predict, because each also country handles the COVID in different ways. So I think we can model, we can do some predictions, but we'll learn more and more as we go. So there's no magic machine that can model and tell us in 2 years' time or in 5 years' time there won't be any COVID in the world. The way that things will happen based on modeling that people are doing on trades, on social and economic aspects and health, of course, the way we will live will be different. Machine learning techniques will be used for predictions of outbreaks, and machine learning will be used, and digital world will be used for traveling. So this is what the future seems to be at the moment. Thank you.
So it means that it is hard to predict the end of these pandemics, because it involves billion of data, and also the data depends on the country, each country, right? So this is very huge responsibilities, and hopefully this pandemic will be end very soon.
Yes,
okay.
We all hope so. But if you look at India and Indonesia, or China and Malaysia and Australia, they're totally different. The way the government is handling is totally different. In Australia, the country was closed in March last year and still not open for traveling. So we can't leave the country now unless you're a diplomat or, on very special circumstances, and because they don't want anyone to come in. So the way to stop it, the modeling is that we're not going to let anyone in. So we're going to keep the virus out. But this cannot continue. In Indonesia, the handling is different, and each government is looking at things in different ways.
Yeah, because sometimes we try to cope maybe one or two models from maybe neighbor countries, but sometimes they're not really suitable when we try to implement it. So yeah, it's very hard. Okay, now thank you, Professor Masud. So there is question from Andika Putra. This is addressed to Dr. Rahayu. Dr. Rahayu, you mentioned previously that anti-virus didn't really help in terms of cybercrime. So the question is, when we use VPN all the time, can really reduce our probability to get trouble with cybercrime? So
okay,
VPN.
Thank you for the question. Okay, so the thing with cybercrime is it's very tricky, yeah. So with VPN, I just want to share an incident that happened January this year. So there's one VPN being taken down by the German police. Because it has experienced so many ransomware attacks. So it shows that cyber attackers will always find their ways. So one important thing is to educate also our community in taking precaution and to be aware of the approaches of the attacks and the modus of operandi. So to answer your question accurately, because there is some evidence showing that although you have VPN with 5 layers, people are still exposed to cybercrime attacks. Yeah.
Okay, so basically there is no technology can give you 100% protection.
Yeah. It may help you to predict for future events, to alert you when an attacker is launching his attack. Yeah, that's the best. I think how technology will help in this cybercrime.
Okay, so it seems like you can run, but you cannot hide, or you can hide, but you cannot run. Okay, so thank you, Dr. Rahayu. And then the question is now addressed to Pak Said Hasibuan. Okay, based on your explanation previously, how will the learning process evolve the future? And what was the position of the lecturer at the time? Because it could have been replaced by robots or intelligent machine. So you are so worried, Bapak Wijang Widyarso, someday you can be replaced by the robots when you teach.
Masya Allah.
And then the dictator say we don't need to give Cerdos again because now it's robot, not the human.
So robot have the certificate and
They don't
Cerdos.
need Cerdos.
Okay,
Pak Said.
thank you, Ms. Lia. Mr. Wijang is my lecturer in Bina Dharma.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum, Pak Wijang. They is in the
Hello,
MDP
Pak.
now. Okay, thank you, Pak Wijang. So I think lecture to must be upgrade the knowledge, because not all the activity in human can be replaced in the AI, because AI can be operational based on data, and then in Indonesia with like when he lecture, not it's different, is something like that. We have the PTO to share the knowledge in the YouTube, and some people maybe understand about our presentation, our knowledge to deliver, but some people want to know, to discuss about the insight, about the meaning, the knowledge of or skill is delivery. Now, the meaning of insight is not have the machine not have the insight of the meaningful about the insight thinking. This is point. So we must do better in the machine. That's our answer to this question.
Okay.
I think have two questions, right?
Yeah, two questions, because learning process.
Can AI combine blockchain, because blockchain?
Oh yeah, you want to answer that?
Yes.
Question. Yeah.
Okay.
I combine with blockchain.
Okay. Can I combine blockchain, because blockchain only perform create and read? Yes. Maybe we can combine AI and the blockchain. AI and the blockchain. So the first, we use the blockchain to delivery our like the certificate, something like that. So the AI to monitor a pattern of the people use the blockchain. Have the one problem is security and verification and something like that. Indonesia have the many problem in the security. So the security, how to detection people want to probe the system and something like that, to detection. So the AI to give help the campus detection before case is done. Maybe is it my answer? Thank you, Miss Lia.
Okay, thank you, Pak Said. So what I can underline is in the first question that there are some processes in teaching and learning that cannot be replaced by the robots. So Pak Wijang, don't worry. our students still need us. Okay. So, is there any question? I think we can still have about 2 minutes. If any questions, or the participant wants to talk directly to the speakers. But before that, I want to ask the committee, do we have any photo session? Or we don't need because you already done it? No? Okay, no, it's already answered this question. So is there any photo session? No? Okay.
Have the photo session, maybe.
Oh, maybe right now?
I think
Okay.
If not question, we have the photo session. So everybody turn on the camera with the
This is good.
picture.
Sadly, we lost Professor Pamanan and Professor Sehat, but it's okay. We still have 3 amazing speakers. For the participant, please turn on your camera. Give me your best smiles, because this is the very first international conference. Okay, so maybe, I don't know, Doni, could you give me the sign?
I take the picture.
Oh, Pak Said.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay.
Wait.
Because you want to predict our future.
Yes, please smile.
Okay.
2, 3. I have the 6 slide and now 5 slide and 6 slide. Okay, final. Thank you.
Thank you. Finish. So any questions still left? So the committee said that, okay, so this is the last question. How you see the data analytic in the future? This is addressed to Professor Masood. How do you see the data analytic in the future? So this will be the last questions in today's discussion.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. That's very interesting. The data analytics is very big, and it's been used in many organizations. I will type in the message the name of the company for which I'm a senior advisor, and we are advising mining companies, companies that produce paints, companies that produce soft drinks, data minings in those areas. There's lots in supermarkets, in marketing. So I'll send you I put a site information there. You can basically go there. I'm a scientific advisor there, and this is a multi-million-dollar company that will be listed hopefully soon on the Australian exchange very shortly. So it's a big work that needs to be done in data analytics. As you can see in data science, all universities now start offering data sciences. I'm not sure if you're offering at your university. If not, then you should really look into it. So the masters in data science, or some at least a major in data science, and companies require that. Doesn't matter where you work for government, you work for banks, you work private or public sector, non-for-profit organizations, they all use data analytics. Let me give you one example of some of the work that we are doing at the University of Canberra that may be very relevant to COVID. Due to the COVID and people are staying at home, and we had a couple of lockdowns in Australia because Australian government wants to have a zero tolerance on COVID patients, and people are staying at home are getting into trouble with the using drugs and other not desirable products, and the government is very worried about suicidal thought of people. So now we use data analytics on the helpline. We just do analysis on the tone of the people, that their voice, the speed of their talk, the word that they use in their conversation to predict if they're going to have suicide or not. So you can see it has got lots of applications. So I will stop here. So there's a future there. As I said, data science will be part of any computer science department, You know, if it's not now, within next 2 years, and it will be part of a degree like software engineering that we teach, data science and data analytics is going to be part of it.
Okay. So that's the future of data analytics, right? Yes. Okay, thank you so much. So no more questions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are coming to the end of our discussions. So we have about 60 minutes for lunch break and pray. The conference will resume at 1 p.m. on time. Please make sure you don't miss it. If you don't know about your schedule or room number, please contact the committee right now, because at 1 p.m., each of you will present your paper. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is heartbreaking to see the impact the pandemic has been having on the world. Please look after yourself. We have for a brighter future very soon. I would like to address millions of thanks to all the speakers today. We have Dr. Rahayu, we have Professor Masood, we have Professor Parmanan, we have Professor Serhat from Turkey, and also Dr. Said Hasibuan from IBI Remaja Indonesia. If you wish to have collaboration, future collaboration in research, you can contact the email that already written down by the committee on the chat forum. Once again, thank you. Again, please look after yourself. Make sure that you can be safe, not only yourself, but also your family and your loved ones. Again, thank you for the committee, and don't forget the participant, your 1 p.m. schedule. Let me end off this discussion. I'm sorry for all the mistake I have done. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Please give big applause to all the speakers today.